Welcome to Make a Path Presents. I'm Ronnie Hayes, and today we're going to talk about Preacher, Season 1, Episode 1. I tell you what, it is strange, but I had a lot of fun. I'd give you a recap, but I don't know what the fuck is going on. It seems like there is a spirit baby slash demon slash something unknown that I don't know about, but comic readers would know about. It seems like that spirit demon was looking for some preachers. It went into a few, they couldn't handle it or something, and they exploded, blood and guts everywhere. And then finally, at the end of the episode, this preacher that we've been following around the whole time named Jesse, the spirit demon thingy goes in him, and he doesn't blow up. So I guess he's now possessed, which is pretty badass. Let's back it up. I'm going to have to rate this episode a mid-grade. Sorry about the rating scale here. Did not have time to make one specific to Preacher, so Walking Dead's going to have to do. Okay, so start this off. Let's talk about Cassidy first. Now, he is an Irish vampire, I'm going to guess, unless he's vampire demon, something like that, because we seen him lighting fire with his hands. Again, I'm not a comic reader. I'm still planning to go back and read the comics, so maybe I'll get it a little more. Anyway, he's on the plane and he fights these guys, and the fight felt over choreographed. Now there's one moment where he just throws a broken bottle and it lands in a guy, and he leans him forward, pours a drink out of it. Now this is cool shit, and this is where you gotta realize this is a show where certain scenes you're not gonna take seriously. You know what I mean? It's weird because it's like you could take it serious, but you don't take it serious. You know what I mean? It's not one of those ones where it's so bad you just shut your brain off and enjoy it. It's one of those ones where you enjoy the shit out of it, but there's also weird shit in it, if you get what I'm saying. Anyway, this guy jumps out of a plane, and when he lands, they show the aftermath. And again, he's a vampire, I think, but he was in the daylight, so now I don't know. Now I'm confused. But a cow comes over and he eats the cow. Now, he's full of guts. He's just a pile of guts at this point. And I guess when he ate the cow, he healed himself, I would imagine. Overall, I did enjoy it a lot. Now, moving on from that, we're going to talk about a girl named Tulip. Now, I'm in love. She's my crush in this show. She was awesome from the start. Not only was she a kick-ass character, very attractive, easy on the eyes. There's a moment where she goes out, we don't see it, but she blows up a helicopter with some homemade bazooka or something, and they got little metal army guys, or I'm assuming it's not the plastic army guys, but the old metal ones, you know what I mean? The really old ones. But those metal army guys are stuck in the one guy's face. That was badass, and I love reflections. There's a moment where she's talking to the kids at the table, and you can see the reflection of the kids in her glasses. Now, reflections aren't nothing new in comics or movies or whatever, but something about it was just so clear, I thought it fit wonderfully. Alright, so I pulled out the freebie comic. This is what they give you. Preacher, and I pulled this out for a reason. And then when you open it up, it's pretty much Cassidy, Jesse, and Tulip right here. She's a blonde in this, and they're all talking basically about their origin stories pretty much. But let me just show you something, because when the girl is sitting at the table and we see the reflection of the kids in her glasses that I was just talking about, how cool that is, in the comic here it shows Tulip, she goes to shoot this guy and she misses and hits another guy in the jaw, blows his jaw off, and two other guys get out of the car and start chasing her down. Yeah, there's this scene where she blows his jaw off and they give chase and she runs away. And I thought that was hilarious because in the comic I read this, just to freebie, just to catch up, I'm still lost because it got to a point where it was like angels and other crap and I just gave up. But I read that part with the Tulip and I was like, wait a minute, she runs away and gets saved by Cassidy pretty much, which is a guy, because she runs into him, he's in a pickup truck, and he just drives away. But in the show, she's telling the little girl and the little boy, you don't need a guy to show up and save you, you know, because the little boy's like, do you have a boyfriend? So I thought that was, is that like a dig at the comic, like maybe a friendly, playful dig? Any Preacher comic book fans out there, a few of you are going to watch, I know you're going to watch this, let me know, send me a message. Was that a dig at the comic or what? And let me know what this is too. This one. Is this the first issue? Because they told me that's what this was, but it was like a collection of the origin stories, so it got kind of confusing. Now let's talk about Arseface right now. He's the guy who tried to kill himself. From what I hear from comic fans, he's the one who's always happy, always positive, you know, always got something nice to say. But there was something when the preacher, Jesse, went to talk to Arseface. I just could not stop staring at his face. It was distracting. It was like a magnet. I mean, just pulling my eyes to his face. I could not take my eyes off his face. I know for a fact I can see the actor's lips in that asshole. I know it. I know. There was one or two scenes where he closed his lips and I was like, I gotcha. Go back and rewatch that and tell me if you can see the actor's lips. I thought I could. So Jesse, the main character, the preacher, right off the bat, I love the casting. I like this guy in previous movies that he did, so I knew I was going to enjoy at least the actor's performance if I didn't enjoy anything else. Now, what was really cool is the fact that they played the Jesse character off as having a dark background, but he was tame through the whole episode up until the end where he kicks some ass and he snaps this guy's arm, where they didn't have any snapping sounds. It was kind of like they were balancing out for the censorship maybe. They were like, okay, well, we can snap the guy's arm and have a bone popping out, a big bone, but if we don't play the snapping sound, maybe we can get it past the censors. And then after that, we have Jesse in a church saying fuck off or fuck you to God, and they muted it out. And I know a lot of people had to pick up on that one because it was a close-up shot, it was clear as hell, and that was right before the demon baby thingy hit him in the chest and threw him backwards. Fans of The Walking Dead, that is what I wanted for Negan, where he says the F-bomb but they just muted it out. If you watched Preacher, it was fine. It didn't rip us out of the story. I know a lot of fans are like, oh, muting it out rips you out of the story, whoop-de-whoop. No, it doesn't. They did it perfect in Preacher, and I wish they would do that in The Walking Dead and other shows. They do it in Better Call Saul, and I think it makes the scenes better. Mute it out, give it to us, you know, uncensored on the DVD, Blu-ray. So after he's possessed with this little demon baby ghost thingy, he goes to church and he's hearing faint sounds of what I thought was like a car alarm, but they played it smart. Instead of making the car alarm sound really loud, they played it real faint. So we can barely hear it. The character he's talking to is like, oh, I don't know, he's just talking about his own shit. But I love how they just played it, you know, real faint. So it put us for a split second in Jesse's shoes where we can faintly hear that sound. And I think that was him feeling these powers he's got now with this possession. And I've heard some comic fans describe it as like the word of God, where if he uses this trick or this new power and he tells someone something, they'll go and do it. And they give us that first example where he tells this pathetic dude, listen, go and tell your mother how you feel. And I thought, before I knew about the word of God stuff, because I was just told about that recently, I thought he was going to go to his mother, he's all happy, and then when he'd show up, he was just going to brutally kill her right there, and it would be this whole, holy shit, I didn't expect that. But he shows up, still happy, you know, and rips his heart out. So that was pretty badass in a twisted way, knowing that he has the word of God, he tells someone to do something using his power, and they will do it. However, there's no playing with words. It is specifics. So far, I think the acting, the writing, the way the story came together with the pacing, the flow, even how crazy the story is, I think looking at the comic now, just that one little issue where there's a whole bunch of different crazy shit going on, I think they did a lot to keep that silliness, keep that craziness for the fans, but tame it for other TV show viewers who might not appreciate that from the start. So I think they did a well-balanced job at that. So if you are a huge Preacher comic fan, or you read it, or at least you know what's going on in the comic, please tell me how you feel about this adaptation to the screen. Tell me how you feel. I'm dying to know how you feel about it brought to the show. And if you haven't read the comic, you know nothing about the comic, let me know how crazy this was. Was this a new experience for you where you're like, holy shit, didn't see that coming. This is nuts. What world are we in now? Put your thoughts and opinions down in the comment box. I had a lot of fun with this, and I am really looking forward to diving deep with the next, 9 episodes? 10 episodes in all, and I will be reviewing them all right here at Make a Path Presents. Thoughts and opinions in that comment box. I'm done talking. It's your turn.
Subscribe now.